Joining me now, Representative Adam Smith, Democrat of Washington and ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. It's always good to see you. Thank you after what has been, to say the least, Congressman, a volatile weekend. Were you surprised by what happened, and were you surprised by how quickly it was over?
I was surprised by how quickly it was over. I think we all we saw this happening. I mean, the conflict between Putin and Prigozhin, and also between Prigozhin and Putin's military leaders, has been going on for some time. And the rhetoric has been pretty extreme for a while, so you could see a break coming. I think that the great unanswered question at this point isn't so much why Prigozhin started it, but why he stopped it. What is the deal that he made with Lukashenko? Because obviously, I mean, he had to see this coming. He had to know it was going to be a big conflict in Russia. So to just shut it off like that, be interesting to see why he did that. And the other key to this is, so you've got the Wagner group and Prigozhin, but who else in the Kremlin or in Russian power circles is looking to push Putin out? And maybe Prigozhin was counting on some help there that didn't come. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out now that he's been, at least temporarily, moved out of the situation.
So can you quantify this, Congressman? How weakened do you think Vladimir Putin is, and how much danger is his long presidency?
You see, I tend to be a little bit of a skeptic on that. I don't think he's as weakened as it appears. I mean, he's always had, since the war started and didn't go the way he wanted it to, there's been a lot of grumbling on a whole series of levels, both, frankly, from hardliners and from people who would like to see Russia go in a totally different direction. But Putin has locked down the levers of power in Russia. So even if there's a lot of dissatisfaction with him, who's going to push him out? I mean, it's similar to me to some degree with what was going on with Assad, when the revolution started against him in 2011, and a lot of people were saying, well, Assad's got to go. Okay, but who's going to push him? What is the power forcing mechanism that's going to force him out? And I ask the same question about Putin right now. He's certainly not going to wake up one day and say, okay, yeah, I'm not doing a great job, I'm out. Somebody's going to have to force him out. I don't see who that somebody is within Russia right now.
So in the meantime, you have the ongoing war, and you recently said that a Ukrainian offensive could beat Moscow's forces back and have them at the bargaining table by the fall. But of course, that was before the revolt. How do you think this changes the scenario for Ukraine?
Well, I saw General McCaffrey's comments earlier on your show, and I think he hit it fairly well. It doesn't change it that much. It does weaken Russia a little bit, if nothing else. The Wagner group, and I agree with General McCaffrey's assessment that they were far from the most effective fighters in the world, but there were 25,000 of them, and they were throwing everything they could at Ukraine. It seems likely at this point that they will be sidelined to one degree or another. I know they're supposed to just now sign up for the Russian military, but seeing as how they were kind of fighting each other, I think there would be a lot of tension there. So it will weaken Russia to some degree, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be dramatic. I mean, the plan, the hope in Ukraine are the brigades that we have trained and equipped. And that the Ukrainians have put together, which are, believed to be fairly effective and well equipped. Their ability to punch through the defenses in the south and the east in the next couple of months is what's going to be key. And the Russian forces clearly are weakened. I don't know that this particular, coup attempt, if you will, weakens them significantly more.
So Putin had, as you know, just what was it now, 2 days ago, vowed to punish what he described as an act of treason. How do you go from that to claiming that your highest goal is to avoid bloodshed? Do you agree that Prigozhin is a dead man walking?
Well, that's the really interesting thing here, because to date, Putin has been very aggressive about taking out people who disagree with him. A lot of Russians fallen off of balconies. So, that's happened a lot. So you would think, based on what's happened in the past, minor little insults, much less attacking Putin's troops, you would think Prigozhin would have to be dealt with in that way. But I think Putin may understand Prigozhin's popularity, and that if he took him out, it might be a bigger problem. He might martyr the guy and have his followers become a bigger problem than Prigozhin hanging out in Belarus. So, and I could be wrong, because this is going against type to predict that Putin will not actually take out Prigozhin. But I think in this case, it might be the smarter move for him to let that go. It might create more problems for him if he got aggressive about it.
Democratic Representative Adam Smith of Washington, thank you so much for being with us on this Sunday.